Welcome everyone. In this video, we are in the Great League showcasing another very powerful team featuring Stunfisk. Stunfisk on Team 4 from my top 5 best teams. I featured this team earlier this season with the Mantine lead variation, but I've been hearing a lot of my Discord members have been running into a bit of a brick wall with the Mantine lead variation, and that worked pretty well early on. Still works quite well even now, but with the emergence of all the dragons, the G-Fisk lead variation is very effective right now. So I thought I would give you all a nice refresher with Team 4 with the original G-Fisk lead variation in the Great League. Yeah, guys, early on with the first rotation of Great League, a lot of people were leading with the Mud Boys, and Mantine was really picking up those leads. But speaking of Mud Boys, we've got one here. People still safe swapping the Mud Boys, and Serperior is here to shut all that down. We had a juicy Charge-a-Bug lead again, while the G-Fisk lead variation, the original recommendation for Team 4, is really popping off right now in the Great League. But yeah, we're just going to shut this Mud Boy down, leave with energy to hit that Charge-a-Bug with, that I'm sure will come back in. They do come back in with it. We are resisting this fast mid pressure. They're resisting ours, but they can hit us with super effective, and we can only hit them with neutral with our aerial aces. But they do add up, especially when they load up on energy like this and allow us to get off multiple aerial aces here. The thought process from the opponent is likely to just get their Charge-a-Bug as low as possible because they no longer have alignment, and they likely know that the G-Fisk will meet this Charge-a-Bug sooner rather than later. They've got a Poly in the back, and this is over. So that was an easy layup just to show you guys the G-Fisk lead variation, quite effective right now, but good game to them. Yeah, I think a lot of people have maybe forgotten that in my initial breakdown of Team 4 and my top 5 best teams, I mentioned you can lead with any of these 3 Pokemon because the team is so flexible, so strong, and still have success. But Poliwrath lead, that's a nightmare for the G-Fisk lead variation here of Team 4. So we actually safe swap Mantine here to, one, to force the swap, to get that energy advantage on the back end, but 2, because I'm making a very astute team read, I should say, because if they lead with a water type like Poliwrath, it's not likely they have a Lantern in the back. That would just be far too much exposure to a very strong grass type, and that would not be sound team building. So I was very comfortable making that team read, and why we have swapped Mantine in as well. So we went Bubble Beam, the resisted Bubble Beam. We're thinking ahead here because the common play pattern would be to overfarm to have energy to hit our G-Fisk with, and I want to take a little bit of the sting off of the multiple drill runs that I'm sure will be coming our way on the G-Fisk. So they're double debuffed here now, and they can throw all the drill runs they want. They're going to be doing no damage. Holy smokes, that did nothing to Galarian Stunfisk. Not only are we taking far less damage, but we can actually afford to overfarm here now because we have double debuffed the attack stat on this Dugong here. So we're just going to overload, come out with energy on the back end, go for the Rock Slide so that we don't have to tank another drill run. Super effective, although you would never know with those debuffs. But we pivot back into the Serperior, and they've got a Basti in the bag. So this is looking pretty good. Serperior performs quite well on even shields up against Bastiodon. The Frenzy Plants hit for neutral, but my goodness, do they hit hard. And yeah, this is looking good. Serperior is going to have to put in some overtime for sure, but I do think that it is up to the task here. We've got the Basti into the red here at this point. They have overfarmed for days. We, of course, are going to shield the flamethrowers because we have to be healthy to threaten that Poliwrath that we will be facing here pretty soon. So going to go for another Frenzy, grabbing a shield from the Basti. They really want to get off a flamethrower, and we are not having that at all, guys. We cannot get hit by a flamethrower. That can't happen. And now we're going to go for an aggressive farm down. I think Serperior is going to get it, and we do. Holy smokes, and we leave with the back-to-back frenzies. The Poly is hanging on to a shield. I am sure this will grab the shield, but we've got another one locked in, loaded here for this Poliwrath. Now, this is not a shadow, so I don't think this will quite KO. It doesn't, but we've got energy on G-Fisk, and G-Fisk can now close out this matchup. Oh my gosh, Serperior. We're saying bye-bye to the Poly, but my goodness, Serperior absolutely put the team on its back, put in tremendous work. Good game to them. So yeah, I knew I wanted to lead G-Fisk just to address all of the dragons, all of the lanterns we've been seeing as of late, and it paid off. Here we go, a lantern and a dragon all on the same team. Holy smokes. So here we are, the G-Fisk lead variation of Team 4, absolutely putting in work. You know a team is strong if they are safe swapping a dragon onto a G-Fisk. So we do shield that Shadow Aquatail. That would have been doing quite a bit. And I have yet to successfully bait a Dragonair with G-Fisk. For some reason, they just get really, really gutsy with their Dragonairs, and they're fine tanking a potential EQ. So we're actually going to save G-Fisk. They're tremendously weak to it. They led Lantern. If Dragonair is your best answer to a G-Fisk, you're in trouble. So yeah, and they're throwing all of this energy. We're basically just going to sack Mantine, especially knowing that they have the Lantern that's now back in on the field. So we're just going to debuff it, and we will go down to Sparks, and we will look to align Serperior onto this Lantern. I'm not sure what else could be in the back. Could perhaps be a Skarmory. The entire team might very well be triple weak to a G-Fisk, which just goes to show the power of G-Fisk in the Great League. It's a beautiful thing, and yeah, they're just doing no damage. This is absolute pain for this poor Lantern here. And we're just going to take full advantage of this very, very dominant type advantage that we have with our Serp. Fully cap out on energy, say bye-bye to the Lantern. That Dragonair is still hanging on by a thread in the back, so we will have to watch out for a potential catch, and the entire team was triple weak to G-Fisk. Holy smokes, you absolutely love to see it, and we do have some energy to threaten this Dragonite here. Grabbing that final shield. We have to be careful of a catch. I'm reading that they're going to superpower and try and catch our Rock Slide, so we're playing with that in mind. They do superpower. They do try to catch. We don't fall for it, and that is just about all she wrote, my friends. So that's the power of the G-Fisk lead variation. Very powerful. That's the original recommendation from my top 5 best teams, and we saw the power of it right there. Good game to them. It's always a fun time whenever I can run team number 4. The team is about as good as it gets, but here we go. Umbreon lead, very neutral, generally favors G-Fisk here. But we have to tread lightly here because Umbreon leads can often have a poison type in the back, and that would be bad news for our Serperior, of course. Gonna go for the Earthquake, and they give up a very, very early shield. That is extremely uncharacteristic from an Umbreon trainer. They never shield the first move, so that was very alarming, very interesting, and that set off a lot of signals to me. That's a very odd play pattern from an Umbreon trainer. So we're actually going to catch this foul play here. I'm not sure how weak they are to a G-Fisk, but that early shield from their tanky Umbreon made me very intrigued. So we go for the Bubble Beam. I'm not sure. They're still here, so I figured why not take a little bit of the Sting because I knew it was loaded. I wanted to take some of the Sting off of that attack output. But they just take the debuff and they bail into a Lantern here. So they're playing very odd here. And this is fine that they hard punish us with the Lantern. We're just going to play it the same way we did the previous Lantern. As well as the Dugong previously, just double debuff it. Come in with Serperior and absolutely load up on energy here. So I was expecting a poison type in the back. I was not expecting a Lantern, so very interesting from them. They are still pretty weak. Lantern's pretty weak to G-Fisk in the back here. So they're going to go for all these resisted moves, and we're just going to overload to cap out to 100 energy here. We are now capped, and we're going to put the Lantern out of its misery now. So it'll be interesting to see what they have in the back. maybe they have an Azu, but no, they do have a poison type. They've got a Toxapex. So we do throw this to chip it. Maybe in hindsight, if we were going to throw that, we should have immediately pivoted into G-Fisk rather than rebank the energy. But I wanted to have a move to threaten Umbreon because I knew it was absolutely loaded, and I knew that we won CMP tie. So that was the rationale, but I think in the process, we just took way too much super effective damage. I was also trying to catch a potential move, but our opponent is playing very well, exercising brilliant patience on their end. And we do successfully bait the Umbreon because they really need to get rid of this G-Fisk, as it's a nightmare for the Toxapex that is still very healthy and remaining in the back. And now we're just going to go for the Rock Slide here, but that Toxapex has a move. And this is getting extremely close here. We needed to get off that Rock Slide, I think, to give us the best chance, but I think even Rock Slide plus Frenzy would not have been enough. So yeah, this one was really close. I think it was still very much doable, but I think we sort of overthought it a little bit. So that's a prime example of how to overthink your way into a loss, but take nothing away from the opponent. They played brilliantly. Good game to them. Yeah, guys, Team 4 is just one of those teams that is just absolutely timeless, always going to perform beautifully. And again, you can lead with any of these 3 Pokemon. I showcased it with Mantine, and we've got G-Fisk on the lead here to show you guys how to play it with G-Fisk on the lead, and it is working out brilliantly as we pick up these dragon leads. It's a thing of beauty. We're gonna bait this Dragonair. Like I said, I have had zero luck successfully baiting these things. They're just perfectly fine with tanking a massive Earthquake with Stab from a G-Fisk. So now we're just gonna go straight Rock Slide, and they just let it go. That's a prime indicator that they are ABA weak to a G-Fisk. And we see the classic Medicham in the back behind the Dragonair. So we pivot into Serperior to draw out Steel type. That's what I'm reading. The classic line is Dragonair on the lead, Medi, and a Steel type such as Bastiodon or Registeel in the back. And if it's Basti, Serperior has tremendous play. If it's Reggie, has a little bit play, obviously not as much. Can put in work with even resistant damage, but they're staying in. So it's likely not either one of those. I don't know what it could be, but it doesn't want to see a Serperior. And they go for a cheeky undercharge there. Good on them for that, but I don't think it's going to help them because we've got a Mantine licking its chops. We're waiting down the switch clock, expecting an aggressive pivot. There's the aggressive pivot, and it was a Carbink, so no wonder they stayed in on the Serperior. With the Medi, they had a Carbink in the back. You can also see it with Carbink, and the G-Fisk lead variation of Team 4 absolutely loves these Dragonair teams with the Carbink in the back because they are thoroughly core broken by a G-Fisk, quite obviously. And you don't shield a thing in this matchup. It is about as dominant as it gets. I was expecting them to perhaps shield to stall the clock. That's their only potential hope of anything, but there is no hope, to be honest. So now they're not going to shield to stall the clock, so we're just going to double Rock Slide. Could have just EQ'd there, but I thought for sure they'd try and make that play. But no, they're not, and this is over. There's just nothing this Medicham can do. It is absolutely helpless in this moment. Gonna Bubble Beam just in case they want to go down with a fight, but no, they don't. They silently concede. They let it go. And down goes the Medicham. Down goes the Dragonair team, ABA weak to G-Fisk. Good game to them. Yeah, guys, so not only does the G-Fisk lead variation of Team 4 here address all of the dragons, but it addresses the counters that people are bringing for all of the dragons. And it shows right there, we had a juicy Alola Ninetales lead for our G-Fisk to absolutely feast upon. They pivot into a Medi, and of course we're going to meet this with our Flying-type Mantine here in the back, and just going to go straight for the damage with the Aerial Aces. No need to Bubble Beam this thing. This is about as dominant as it gets. Of course, we're resisting the fast move pressure. Mantine, quite bulky for those of you unfamiliar. Has the same stat product as Skarmory. Very bulky Pokemon here. And we're just going to take full advantage of our type advantage. Load up here to have energy on the back end. Hit this Aerial Ace, say bye-bye to the Medi. Down it goes. In comes the A9 here. And we've got another Aerial Ace locked and loaded here. Again, just going to go for the damage. And it's going to be interesting to see if they want to allow us to get to another move. They do not. That's okay. Going to cut the losses and look to realign our G-Fisk onto this Alola Ninetales. Of course, when it's running Powder Snow, I don't want it anywhere near my Serperior here lurking in the back. So in comes our G-Fisk. Gonna let this one go. They likely want to just chip and dip here. No, they don't. They want to stay in. Holy smokes. Okay. I'll take that. Gonna fire off this Rock Slide here and see what they want to do. Oh, they're shielding. Oh, that's a key indicator, my friends, that we have yet another team thoroughly core broken by the G-Fisk lead variation of team number 4 from my top 5 best teams. You absolutely love to see it. Gonna go for another Rock Slide. They're double shielding. Holy smokes. That's a dead ringer for Basti in the back. There it is, right on cue. Oh, this team was very popular last season, and people are very clearly dusting it off in response to the plague known as all of the dragons running rampant in the Great League. The Great League is absolutely plagued with dragon types, and it's forcing people to dust off this team right here. But guys, let me tell you, Team 4 with the G-Fisk lead variation loves to see this team. And Serperior is just going to sweep this game. There is nothing more that the opponent can do, guys. The goal here now is to just leave with back-to-back frenzies. Serperior can prove to be quite the closer in the Great League, if you can imagine. It can sweep a game like you wouldn't believe. Just going to shield up all of these flamethrowers. Get to the back-to-back frenzies to seal the deal here. Hit this frenzy and say bye-bye to the Basti. And we've got another one locked and loaded for this A9. It is absolutely within frenzy plant range. We're saying bye-bye to the A9 as well, courtesy of Serperior. Absolutely taking over yet another endgame to close strong. Yeah, love to see it. Good game to them. So hopefully those of you who have been running Team 4 with the Mantine variation can get a good look at how the G-Fisk lead variation performs. But here we go, Trevenant lead. You don't often see Trev, but guys, I was seeing a lot of Trev yesterday. We're going to safe swap Serperior here because Trevenant leads often have at least one steel type in the back. It could be G-Fisk, could also be a Bastiodon. Trevenant and Bastiodon pair together beautifully. So that's the team read we're making, and it further cements the fact that they were staying in for so long. There's the Basti right on cue, so the team read was on point here. And so far, it's looking like this team pretty weak to a Serperior here. We are absolutely loaded. And I do want to preserve the Serperior because it could be Trev double steel. That is a team comp that I've run extensively in the past. So it could be a G-Fisk in the back in that case. Serperior could be quite useful. Gonna catch this here. It is super effective. The Bastiodon hits like a wet noodle, as we can see there. And we are just going to overload. We're going to throw on 10 here. That is proper timing. If you have a 2-turn up against a 3-turn, you'll only be throwing on 1, 4, 7, or 10. And down goes the Bastiodon. I'm sure they're going to come back in with that Trevenant. So our overfarm will likely prove to be quite useful. In comes the Trev. The overfarm's going to be useful. They don't have to shield this Rock Slide here, but Trev is not known for its bulk. Still does quite a bit. Every bit of damage you can get on a Pokemon that hits as hard as Trevenant is always going to be very beneficial, because that will lead to it being on the field for less time. And now we're going to bring in the Mantine here. It's not double steel. It's a Licky in the back, but it doesn't matter. They have locked themselves in here, so we're going to debuff it and look to get off a Frenzy or threaten a shield on the Licky here. So getting off that debuff will be quite nice, because if we hadn't, I do believe this Body Slam would have KO'd. But because we did debuff it, it does not, allowing us to get off this very, very clutch Frenzy plant here. This should grab the shield, but they let that go. Holy smokes, they needed to shield that Frenzy. That is very clearly the hardest hitting move remaining in the game. They don't shield the Frenzy. which means that this is even more over than it was previously. It was pretty over, but it's now fully over now. So yeah, gonna just go for the damage here with the Aerial Ace. The Trev is hanging on by a thread. They might try and pivot. They do. So we're just gonna farm this all the way down. Load up on all of the energy known to man. We shield this. This is the hardest hitting move remaining in the game. Down goes the Trevenant, and we have the move to hit the Licky. And that will be all she wrote for this Trevenant team here. We've got this Aerial Ace, and we're saying bye-bye to the Licky Tongue, courtesy of Mantine. This time coming in clutch to close strong. It's a thing of beauty. Good game to them. Team 4 just puts in solid work, battle after battle in the Great League. A very strong team. And here we go, Deoxys. This is quite good for G-Fist, despite it doing super effective damage with the counters. The reason why is because the counters don't have stab, DD doesn't hit very hard, and they're forced to only throw resisted damage with their charge moves. They do hit us with a resisted Psycho Boost as they pivot into a Licky, so we're going to chip this, and now we will dip into Serperior here. Serperior has a very strong matchup against Licky Tongue. Licky generally does not like Frenzy Plant users such as Serperior or Venusaur. They just hit way too hard, even on a Pokemon as bulky as Licky, so we're just going to overload while also chipping it within Frenzy Plant range. This should just about be Frenzy range, but it hangs on by literally a 1 HP. That was very annoying. Holy smokes. That thing hung on by literally 1 HP, a fraction of HP. That was brutal for us because we had to tank damage in the process, which means that we won't be able to put in as much work on this Deoxys. Very annoying. That Licky was a little too thicky right there. Holy smokes. So now gonna come in with G-Fisk here again. We're not threatened by these charge moves here. They are all resisted. We're not shielding this. I don't even know why they even bother. It's a waste of energy if you ask me. But they pivot into a Greedent. So this is very similar to a team that I ran last season. I ran Greedent and Licky behind Medicham, but Medicham has definitely seen better days. I like the adjustment to the DD lead with this team here. So this should be okay. It is running Trailblaze. They have risen their attack by 1 stage, and we're going to lower it right back down with a Bubble Beam. So now we're back to baseline here. And they now know that we have the ability to lower their attack, so it looks like they're just resigned to going straight Body Slam here, and we'll take that. We are double resisting this fast move pressure, which is why this matchup is quite nice for Mantine here. Now we're just going to go for the damage with the Aerial Aces here. They do outpace us to the Body Slams, but they are going to pivot back into the DD here. Gonna absolutely shield up what could be a double super effective Thunderbolt. That's an amazing shield right there. And now we're going to anticipate that they will throw a Psycho Boost. I thought for sure they would shield this to try and get that off, but they don't shield it. So now we're just going to catch that onto our low health G-Fisk then. I thought for sure they would want to shield to get that damage off on the Mantine because we are still super healthy. But no, they were happy to just go down with that energy and forced us to make a clutch catch here. That was pretty clutch because now we're still healthy. Should be healthy enough to tank 2 Body Slams here from this Greedent, and we can wing attack this thing down. There's 1 Body Slam. In comes Body Slam number 2. We got that wing attack through, and I was quite confident we would survive with a few HP long enough to take out that Greedent. So yeah, maybe should have just thrown that Aerial Ace on the DD, but I thought for sure they would shield, but no. But yeah, it worked out in the end. That's the team, guys. I wanted to give you a refresher with Team 4 here. I did showcase it earlier this season, and I wanted to showcase it with the G-Fisk lead variation because a lot of my members on Discord confidence seemed to have been waning with the Mantine lead variation. They were just not having the same amount of success with it early on with the Mantine lead. And the Mantine lead's still good. It was very good during the first cycle. A lot of people were leading with the Mud Boys. The Dragons had not fully taken over the Great League at that point, but now People are leading Lantern a lot more. They're leading Dragons a lot more, which can be a bit more challenging with the Mantine lead variation. Still very much doable, but the G-Fisk lead variation just further cements your chances of success up against the current meta in the Great League. And again, that was the original recommendation for Team 4 with the G-Fisk lead. So I wanted to showcase it for you guys and show you how it would hold up to the current meta. And as we can see in this video, it holds up quite nicely. So guys, I had a blast. I hope you all enjoyed. As always, I thank you for watching and keep up the grind. Thank you guys.